What's up, everybody? Michael Anthony here with some more Metal Gear Solid School. I'm here with my lovely assistant.
Ryan? Is that my name?
Yes, the most beautiful of all men on this planet.
Finally bearded.
Finally. And we are playing some Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Playing some HD.
This is episode 4.
Correct.
Of the school, or lesson 4.
Yes.
You can call it that.
Do your homework, Ryan. Gotta keep the school motif going. Alright, so we're playing Peace Walker. And right now, just so you understand what's happening, what you're going to be seeing, I'm sneaking into Peace Walker's base. This is my setup, my loadout. You guys can see how I play. I play Sneaking Suit. I'd like to play No Kill. As you pointed out when I played Fat Man, I do no kills.
Alright.
Okay. And so the last episode we did Snake Eater, which was the first game with Big Boss.
Yes.
This is, even though it's the third game with Big Boss, this is the second, biggest game with Big Boss. There's a game that comes after Snake Eater and comes before this, and that game is Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. But to be quite honest with you, nothing important happens in that, except for at the end of the game, Big Boss and all his friends create the Patriots, the future bad guys.
That's a pretty big reveal, though, right?
But that's it. That's it. That happens at the end, and that's the only important thing.
Okay, so in the actual chronology of time, when did this game come out?
This takes place in 1973? 73, I believe.
But when did the game come out?
Oh, the game came out... This game came out in 2010, I believe.
Okay, because I'm actually a little jarred by the graphical improvement from Snake Eater.
This is actually a PSP game originally.
Really?
Yes. And right now I'm playing it at the HD remake.
Why did he just pass? What happened?
I put my gun up to him and I told him to freeze.
And he
so
did.
I'm patting out the items. I'm like picking through his pockets.
And you just knocked him unconscious?
Knocked him unconscious.
Well done.
All right. So let me tell you what I'm doing, and then we can get into the story. So right now I'm trying to sneak into Peace Walker's hangar. Okay.
Wait, Peace Walker's a person, or is
Peace Walker is the Metal Gear in this?
Oh.
But it's a unique type of Metal Gear. Okay. This Metal Gear is not a Metal Gear that you fire a nuke from. This is a Metal Gear that automatically fires its own nuke. So, here's a history lesson, everybody. Okay? Way back during the Cold War, there was a theory called nuclear deterrence. And the idea is, they won't attack us because we have nukes. Okay?
Well, it sounds like mutually assured destruction.
Yes. So, that's the idea. Like, hey, we're good we got nukes, you won't attack us, you know? You're not that dumb. So, in reality, there's a supposed flaw in nuclear deterrence theory. And the idea is that anybody who is in a position of power with a nuclear weapon knows full well that if they are nuked, that when they retaliate, they will end humanity.
Yes.
Because if you get nuked and you nuke somebody back, you're starting a nuclear war. It's not the first nuke that starts the war, it's the second nuke that starts the war. Okay?
Okay.
So the idea being, if you were the person who has had a nuke fired at them, do you retaliate? So because that question is even raised...
This Metal Gear takes it out of their hand, basically.
Exactly.
They don't have to have the burden of actually launching the second nuke.
Exactly.
It'll just happen.
It automatically notices when a nuclear missile is fired and will immediately respond, meaning that now it's not the person it's not the second nuke that's important, it's the first nuke. Completely taking away the idea just because if I fired a nuke at you, you would know that if you fired back at me, you'd end the world.
Yes.
So you might hesitate. You might not do it. So I'm free to fire that nuke. Peace Walker takes that out of the situation and says, hey, one nuke, that's it, you're done. You fire at us, we will fire back at you.
Because we don't even have a choice.
Exactly. This machine will do it for us. So that's the premise of Peace Walker. That's the premise of this Metal Gear. That's kind of the premise of what's going on with the CIA and the Sandinistas and the Contras and all that.
Okay.
Again, this is set during a historical, actual thing. So right now, Snake is fighting... he's making his private army with his friend Miller, okay? And he's recruiting a lot of ex-CIA guys. That's these guys I'm knocking at right now. And he's recruiting a lot of Sandinistas. The Sandinistas were the rebels who were pro-communism in Nicaragua. And in real life, the U.S. government backed the Contras, which were the opposing faction. I'm not going to get into it, but do your research. Go on the internet, find out about things. There's a really interesting thing to read about called Iran-Contra, where a bunch of generals and the President of the United States willingly broke the law and gave money to the Contras by giving guns to Iran.
Yeah.
So
we did a lot of stuff like that during the 70s.
Oh, yeah. We did a lot of sketchy stuff during the
containment.
World War. Yeah, exactly. The whole thing is don't let communism get a foothold in the United States or in this hemisphere. But so right now that we've handled this history lesson, now that I've given you some of that real history, I've snuck into Peace Walker. I've snuck into the Peace Walker, the hangar. Okay, and this woman you're seeing right here, that's Dr. Strangelove. Yes, that is a really bad James Bond reference. And she's talking to this bald gentleman named Coldman. His name is Hot Coldman.
Hot Coldman.
Hot Coldman. And he is
the inspiration for a Katy Perry song.
Unfortunately, not. He is the station chief of Central America, the CIA station chief. And he, actually, you're going to find out in just a minute, he's the one who helped revise the Snake Eater plan, that he's the one who rewrote the plan to make it so that Big Boss would kill the boss. It's Snake Eater.
What?
Remember how I told you the boss, in the previous video, the boss went undercover?
Yes.
But then that whole thing with the nuke happened, so now she needed to prove her innocent, the U.S. needed to prove their innocence, so they have Snake kill the boss. He's the one who wrote that plan.
Wow.
He's the one who wrote the plan to get it killed. Now you're seeing here, he's talking, and the voice you're hearing is the voice of the boss, but she's dead.
Oh, let me hear this.
About your final mission.
Okay, so he's asking about the phone?
My final mission.
Okay. So the woman, Strangelove, was also in love with the boss. Strangelove is gay. Or lesbian. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to be wording that. But, so she brought the consciousness of the boss back through AI programming. Knowing the boss so well, she agreed to make AI. She agreed to make an AI for Peace Walker only if she was given complete access to every file the U.S. had on the boss. So she got those files in return for doing this, and she used those files. She used all the decisions she had ever made to implant the boss's personality within the AI core, and that is the only reason why Snake agreed to this mission. Because Snake heard a recording of the AI talking and thought it was the boss. And he needed to know if she was actually dead or not.
But he killed her.
He did kill her, but some trickery.
The weird shit happens all the time in this series.
So he needed to be sure that the woman he loved was dead.
But now, who's he talking to now?
That's Hot Coldman.
Hot Coldman.
That's Hot Coldman. Nice head tat.
Who does he work for?
He's the CIA. So at this point in the timeline, see, I know what happened in Selenoyarsk 10 years ago. That's Russia, Selenoyarsk. See, the operation to eliminate the traitor. He was the one who planned the whole thing to kill the boss. Okay? So you have to remember that after Peace Walker, or not after Peace Walker, but after Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake is like done with the U.S. Because the U.S. made him kill the boss. He's done. He's just not doing it anymore. He's out. He is just so disillusioned with the idea of fighting for a country. Because a country can take away the things you love. And a country, you just fight because the country tells you to fight. And you don't believe in the things the country tells you to fight. So that's why he's creating that mercenary organization in Costa Rica with Miller. It's the MSF, the Militaires Sans Frontières, which is French for an army without borders. Okay? So he's running the very first private military corporation that has ever existed chronologically.
Wow.
Okay, that's what he's doing. And he took this job to investigate this because it aligned with his own wanting to know if the boss was dead or not. Okay? The person who gave him the job is the Russians.
Wow.
So it looks like he's working for the KGB, but he's not. He's working for himself.
Okay.
So a kind of big thing. It's it's just weird. It's just weird. Because we're not going to get to. Obviously, you guys aren't going to watch the entire game here. I'm going to have to sum up this story for you.
Right.
Okay. So we know that Big Boss is going to become a bad guy. That's just the structure of the game, of the series. We know eventually he's going to become bad.
But is he really bad?
Well, again, we don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But so we are told that he's going to become a bad guy. Okay.
But it's kind of like one of those cases where everything that he does, you can't really blame him for doing it.
Kind of, yeah.
Or does it get bad?
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the Phantom Pain. But so you see now he's explaining what's going to happen with Peace Walker. He's going to make a nuke area where they can't attack us. And they're going to try to take over all of South America. The U.S. is going to try to take over South America and, the fortress that it is and control the Panama Canal and all that kind of stuff. So what ends up happening at the end of this game, okay, is Snake is fighting Peace Walker, and Peace Walker tricks the United States. It hacks into NORAD, okay, which is our...
So, Peace Walker is the name of the artificial intelligence and the Metal Gear.
Correct.
Okay, they're one and the same.
Correct.
Based on the brain and life of the boss.
Correct. The woman Snake used to love. So, Peace Walker, hold on. I think actually I'm gonna get to that in a second. You guys are gonna watch me. Oh, I felt so bad when I was recording this. So she's talking right now, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I need him for AI testing."
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna cut to, you're gonna see here in just a second. It's gonna go into like a QuickTime event that I totally botched. But it's a QuickTime event that if you fail, the game just continues.
So did you fail it?
Yes. So what happens in the QuickTime event... See, watch. Boom, here it is. So what happens in the QuickTime event is you're supposed to press all the buttons, and I forgot that this was coming up, and I put my phone down to text. That's what ended up happening. And if you had made it through the entire QuickTime event, you would have snatched Strangelove's keycard off of her vest. Mm-hmm. And you would have been able to use that item in an upcoming mission. Okay? So,
but you failed.
But I failed. So this is our mission results for the mission I just did that only took me 10 minutes. No kills, you already know. Got an A rank. Pretty bummed that I didn't get an S rank. But, okay.
What does S stand for? Because it's the thing in Japanese games, there's S rank.
Superb, dude.
Superb or superior? Or,
super good.
Or...
So much better than an A.
You know, I'm imagining it being sufficient.
Sufficient.
Like, the albeit as a stereotype of, like, the Japanese father who's like, if you don't get an A, you failed.
Yes.
So, like, you get a perfect score, and he goes, that will suffice.
Okay. So, getting back to...
That's terrible.
This weird story. So, you remember, Boss is all disillusioned with the United States and all the things that have happened to him. Okay? So, this AI... tricks the NORAD system, our missile defense system, our missile dome that would notify us of a nuclear launch. Mm-hmm. Okay, tricks those into showing that the Soviets have fired a nuke.
Oh shit!
Okay, so they're all thinking, "Yeah, we have to retaliate," but all the people in this war room are like, "Chill out. I'm not gonna fire that nuke." Mm-hmm. So he's using that. He's using their...
What's happening here? This
is a flashback to him fighting the boss.
Oh, can I see this?
Yes,
really need to see
I didn't
this.
defect.
What about you, Jack?
You're really into this.
I am. His name's Jack.
Yes, his name's actually John. But everyone calls him Jack as his nickname. No explanation.
Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings. The only thing
This is all actually all really important, though.
certainty is the mission, Jack.
Now it's time for the obligatory Metal Gear Solid torture sequence. That was all a dream.
Wow.
That was a memory. That was a memory. Okay.
And she's torturing him.
Yes. So, here's the big thing. Because we're not going to get to the end of the game in this video.
Okay.
And it's important that we get here so you see how Big Boss is starting down this path. Okay? So, Big Boss, having set up his army, having, become good friends with a lot of them people like Amanda, who was a Sandinista, and her little brother Ricardo, who everyone calls Chico, having a great working relationship and a great friendship with with Master Miller, having, you know, all these people meeting Otacon's father, Huey Emmerich, who looks just like him, the same voice actor and everything. He's just paralyzed from the waist down. Having done all this, having created this army and surrounding himself with good friends and good people, Peace Walker sets all this in motion so that the Peace Walker Metal Gear can fire its nuke. Okay? Now, keep in mind, Peace Walker is being controlled by the supposed conscience of the boss. Okay? So right now I'm getting shocked. But, you know, no big deal. So, keep in mind, it's I'm using air quotes, everybody. It's the boss who's controlling Peace Walker. For all intents and purposes.
Right, because it's her consciousness.
Correct.
Or an encoding of her consciousness.
So he defeats the Peace Walker mech, okay? But the AI is still in control. So he goes in the AI and he starts just ripping out all the boards, ripping out all this data and everything like that. And he comes out and guess what? It's still going to fire the nuke.
Oh, wow.
And Peace Walker has two AI pods. It has what they call the mammal pod and the reptile pod. And the idea is the reptile pod handles basic functions like moving and things like that, moving and shooting a gun, whereas the mammal pod handles high cognition ideas of picking targets to choose and time to retaliate and things like that.
Okay, so it's just like the human brain. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They
Different
refer
parts
to
of the brain.
There's part of your brain that they refer to as the reptilian brain.
Exactly. So the same exact concept. Now, an important thing happens to the AI that also happens to human beings. When a part of your brain is damaged, other parts of your brain can pick up the slack. So he just destroys the mammal pod, okay? And the reptile pod assumes all of that information and becomes like a new mammal pod, okay? So it's still the boss's conscience, and this thing is about to fire the nuke, but remember that it's like the boss it's almost like the boss is this robot. This robot, this Peace Walker mech, delays its nuclear launch and gets up while it's all destroyed and walks itself into a lake to destroy itself.
Wow.
And everyone's like, what's happening? What's happening? And Strangelove points out that she thinks that she had done such a good job, or as she refers to it, there's a ghost in the machine of the actual boss. Like her soul was actually in that mech. Okay? And that she controlled the mech and that she drowned the mech. Whether you believe it was her actual soul, or it was just the programming that was similar to the boss, and that's the decision the boss would have made, is up to the player. But no matter what you pick, Snake is pissed about this. Now you'd think, why is he pissed about this? She stopped a nuclear bomb, okay? What this mech solidifies to Snake, what this mech solidifies is that the boss was never loyal to him. That the boss was only ever loyal to her mission.
And to her country.
Why
is he lying now?
Huh?
Why is he lying to Strangelove now?
Because he doesn't want to give her any more information about the boss.
So he's just doing just to rob her of the knowledge?
Just to rob her.
Because it doesn't seem like there's no strategic reason to know this. She only wants it for her satisfaction.
Exactly. That's what so she's trying to rob her of it. Okay? So he feels betrayed. That the boss talked all this game, said all this stuff, but doesn't believe what she says. Or he interpreted what she had said differently than what she meant. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was a miscommunication, and he feels slighted. And he feels that the only thing he's good for is fighting. The only thing he's ever been good for is being a soldier. And he thinks that the boss, especially after seeing what Peace Walker has done, you know, the idea being that Peace Walker is the boss come back to life, he feels like just slighted, that the boss would put down her gun, that the boss would just choose not to fight and protect a country and not a friend. You know what I mean? Or that she would put her gun down and choose not to be the soldier that she is, that she would just quit fighting.
Okay.
And she would be loyal to the mission. And he feels he's pissed about this. And that's what sets Big Boss like down the path to being the big boss that we know as a bad guy.
Okay.
So right now I've been captured. Okay. Now you'll notice
what?
I just pulled. If you look at his chest, you might be able to get a shot of his chest. You see, he has like this big, long, winding scar. on his chest,
Uh-huh.
and that's the exact same scar that the boss had from her C-section. There's a very serious accident that came all the way up to her chest, like right in the center of her breasts, the incision, the cut, okay? And he purposely scarred himself and made that same scar so that he could hide a jigsaw under her skin just in case anything like this happened.
That's pretty heavy. Wait, the boss had a kid?
Yes.
What?
That kid? Revolver Ocelot.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
How have you not told me this?
We just never got to it, I guess.
Revolver Ocelot is the child of Boss?
Yes.
What?
Yes, the boss's child. It's the boss's child, but not Big Boss's child.
Right.
Yes.
Wait, what? Who's the father?
The father is a man that the boss loved, one of the bosses in Metal Gear Solid 3, whose nickname is the Sorrow. The boss and all of the members of her unit, the Cobra unit, were named after emotions that they brought into battle. So they called Big Boss, or they called the boss, the female, they called her the Joy. Because she loved to fight. She loved to be in war. Okay? The Sorrow was her lover. Okay?
You done goofed.
And now here's the thing. Now here's where it becomes yes, I done goofed. Here's where it becomes a big thing. So the boss and all the members of the Cobra unit, I think I actually die. I'm actually pretty ashamed. I'm pretty sure I die actually. But so I'm not doing too good right now.
Alright, no, go on with this, because this is insane.
So you have to remember this is all happening. Snake Eater was happening during the 60s, not too long after World War II. The boss actually fought in World War II. She participated in the landing of Normandy, which is actually where Ocelot was born. Ocelot was born on the beach at Normandy.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, he was born on the beach.
There's no way.
She stormed into battle 9 months pregnant. And
they would never have let her do that.
Hey, man, she's the mother of the Special Forces. So here's the thing.
They let her go into the battle 9 months pregnant.
I don't know, man. Just let him have it, okay? So the boss was an American. The Sorrow was a Russian.
Oh, wow.
So after World War II, they became enemies. Their nations became enemies against one another, and she was set on a mission in Selinoyarsk, which is the area of Russia that Snake Eater takes place in, okay? And her mission was to kill him, and she killed him.
Oh, wow.
She shot him in the face. Right through the eye.
Wow.
And you can actually, while you're playing Snake Eater, you can actually find his body. You can find his body, and you see him throughout the game as like a ghostly figure in the background.
Really?
Yes, all throughout the game. In cutscenes and things like that, he's just this ghostly figure that's around.
Wow.
Yes.
Does Ocelot know that...
No.
Does he ever find out?
Nope.
He doesn't know that the boss and the Sorrow are his parents.
Nope. He never knows.
So he has no idea.
Has no idea.
That Big Boss killed his mom.
Yeah.
And they become like best friends.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, that's all the thing.
That's insane.
Isn't it?
That is legitimately crazy. Wow. I don't even know what else to say to that. That's insane. Really?
Yes.
When do you find out that Ocelot is her child?
Oh, you find that out like the end of the third game.
So wait, who raises Ocelot?
He gets taken immediately. From the battlefield, he gets taken by the Philosophers. Do you remember the Philosophers' Legacy, which was that big sum of money that everyone was fighting over?
Yes.
The group that set that up, they're like the precursors to the Patriots.
You know, that explains why Ocelot is such a good soldier. It's in his blood.
He's in his blood, and he was trained by the Philosophers like from birth. You know?
It's
the same. Remember how I told you Eva was working for the Chinese, and Eva went to a charm school to be a spy. Kind of the same thing. Like Ocelot was part of that, de facto underground weird.
But that makes his allegiances seem even more strange.
Honestly, as someone like me who's a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, I honestly have never figured out where Ocelot's allegiances lie. I truly haven't. And I know they talk about all the time, like, his allegiances lie with Big Boss, but even then, it comes into question. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the time he's playing things so close to his chest that even Big Boss doesn't know. Like, it's ridiculous.
Wow. Do you think he might learn in the Phantom Pain?
That might be a thing. surely love it for him to know, oh, I got caught, but I'm running away.
It'd be really tragic if he never found out.
Yes.
Just goes his whole life never knowing that that's who his parents are. That's crazy because Snake could have just as easily been his dad.
Just as easily. So here's a big thing. We're actually coming toward the end of this video now. We only got a few minutes left. So I'm going to explain some stuff that happens in Peace Walker because of our next episode. So you actually hear that's right there on the left. That's Miller. That's his second in command of MSF.
And where did he come from?
They actually met on the battlefield. Miller was a member of the Japanese self-defense force, and at the time, Big Boss was a mercenary. And they ran into each other, and enemies. When they first met, they were enemies, and they respected each other. And then they met one day off the field, and were like, "Hey, I remember you. We tried to kill each other," and they just hit it off and became best bros.
That's really weird.
So remember, I told you they took this mission from the KGB.
Right.
Okay. The person who came from the KGB to give them the mission was a man named Ramon Galvez. Ramon Galvez is actually a KGB agent named Vladimir Zadornov. Okay?
Vladimir Zadornov?
Yes.
Sounds like you said Vladimir is a doorknob.
Almost.
Vladimir Zadornov.
So Vladimir Zadornov had with him a little girl named Paz Ortega Andrade. And she was a girl who had the cassette tape with the boss's voice on it. So he used her as leverage. None of them really know. Actually, they kind of do know. I'm going to get into that in a second. No one really knows that she's actually an agent for a secret clandestine intelligence agency called Cipher.
God, man, you're killing me.
Cipher was...
Wait, her dad works for the KGB?
No, that's not her dad. That's just some girl. She's also playing the KGB to get into Big Boss's group.
Okay, but she's the guy who is pretending to be her father is KGB.
Yes.
But she works for this Cipher group.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. She works for Cipher. Remember how I told you at the end of Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, the one that's not important, they form the Patriots?
Yes.
So they form the Patriots, and then in between this game and that game, they have a falling out. So Snake is no longer a member of the Patriots. The Patriots changed their name to Cipher.
Wow.
So she's working for the Patriots right now. And she becomes the villain at the very, very end of the game. And her attack actually sets up the next game. But I don't want to blow your mind anymore.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm really glad you guys have watched the videos. I hope you guys are enjoying them. And we will actually catch you next time here on Under Inspired Games.